My name is Stephanie Billings, and this is my independent study. I decided to look at sustainable agriculture and how the United States could create a national system. And I decided to do this because I was really interested in how we could do it, and if we could do it, and why can't we do it? So what I did first was I looked at Cuba as a case study because really one of the only countries in the world that has created a national sustainable agriculture system. And the reason that they have been able to do this, the Soviet Union collapsed and the United States strengthened their embargo, and they basically had to come up with a way of growing food without petroleum products, including pesticides and fertilizers. After looking at Cuba, I decided to look at some of the regional communities here in the United States. There are definitely pockets of sustainable agriculture: Michigan, Wisconsin, parts of New England, and right here in the Northwest. So what all of these states have in common are a local desire for local foods and sustainable foods, and oftentimes organic food. Came across a really wonderful book called Remaking North American Food Systems, which is edited by C. Claire Hendricks. And this book was definitely a key to my learning experience. It really brought forth some ideas that I hadn't heard about before, that I'd been looking for but wasn't really sure what it was. This discussion on state level farmers market federations. So in plain English, it's a collaboration of various farmers who get together and work on finding a means of distributing all their food that they're able to grow and actually make money too. So what we find is potato farmers getting together to sell to schools and to other institutions. So the next thing that I looked at was actually interviewing somebody who is working at the policy level in Washington, D.C. And I was lucky enough to get an interview with Jill Alburn, who is spearheading the new Know Your Farmer, Know Your Food program. Basically, I was interested in her take on sustainable agriculture and the viability of creating a national system. Something she did leave me with was the notion that it's a really large system, but that there is growing interest. And so that's basically why the USDA has started developing sustainable agriculture programs. It's not just the legislation that we need to focus on, and it's not just the marketplace, selling at farmers markets and getting more organic foods in Walmart. But it's also about shifting our culture. It's about shifting cultural expectations, that while it's convenient to take a box from the cupboard and have dinner ready in 15 minutes, is it really long-term wise, is that our healthiest option? Is it really going to make me happy and fulfilled? Or is it going to cause me to have diabetes at a young age, or my children? I really do believe that the United States can create a national sustainable agriculture system. It's going to be a matter of people starting to demand healthy local foods, and it's going to be slow. It's a large system, and it's been in place for over 50 years. So, of course, it's going to take a long time for us to shift in a different direction. A couple of the surprises that came up for me this quarter are that there are a lot of books out there about what's wrong, and there are very few of them that actually talk about what we need to do on a national scale. I hadn't heard heard about this before, and I was really excited to see that there is what I would call a mid-level network. So we have our small CSAs and our local foods, and we have our national programs. But there's little talk about that in between the state level and the regional level organizations. Once we get to the states developing their own collaboration and their own federations, then we can make that final step towards a national sustainable agriculture system. Seattle Mayor has announced that this is the year of urban agriculture. So while there hasn't really been a specific discussion about what that means, I agree that urban agriculture is definitely something that is to be watched, and I'm going to keep my eye on the different projects going on here in Seattle and hopefully regionally. And I'm going to continue reading. One of the books I have on my list is Deeply Rooted by Lisa Hamilton, which chronicles 3 conventional farmers who decide to make the shift to organic agriculture and how they do it and the trials and tribulations. So I think that will definitely be something to look at as well. Conventional farmers who decide that they want to go in a more organic and sustainable agricultural route. And I looked forward to seeing what they come up with and what we can do in order to help them.